Yep.
We gotta wait for it to get a preview going here. Okay, I'm gonna go live. You guys ready?
hmm Good evening and welcome to the OSSAA presentation of Oklahoma High School football. This is your broadcast crew for the evening from the Jones Journal, calling the Jones Longhorns and the Chisholm Longhorns. Uh, we apologize that we're going to have a slightly different camera angle for the evening. Some of our camera equipment got wet, and so we'll doing some adjustments here, but that's where we're going to take the action to near. I'm Matt Boggs, and here in the booth with me, I've got Chris Branch. Chris, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well. Great to be back. Excited to watch the Battle of the Longhorns.
The Longhorns and the Longhorns here in the first round of the Oklahoma Class 2A playoffs. And we will have a matchup here between Jones and Chisholm. Now, these two teams did meet preseason. Of course, the final result didn't matter at that point, but that was so slightly familiar squads. Jones is going to get the ball first. They are led by their 6'3" quarterback, Carson May, throwing for over 2,000 yards this year. Efficient Jones offense. And then, so that's the first group we're going to see is the Jones offense versus the Chisholm defense.
Yeah, May also leads the rushing attack with 597 yards on the year, so he is the leading rusher. But they do, spread it around as far on the running backs. They do have 3 additional running backs that have over 200 plus yards. So you'll also see Elijah Reed. You'll see, Corbin Cox and also Xavier Zachary. All 3 of those will see touches throughout the game. You got a kickoff. Up the middle is a rolling ball, and you have a little open field for Caden Carl on the return. And that'll give the Longhorns great field position, starting out just out inside of their own 40.
That's right, Chris. This is going to be a good starting field position for the Jones Longhorns.
Right, and the Chisholm Longhorns, they're 3-7 on the year. They're 2-4 in their district, but that's really, as of late, they have actually turned it on as far as offensively doing most of their scoring in the last 2 games.
Elijah Reed's going to be met in the backfield for a quick loss right there. Number 45 on the tackle for the Chisholm Longhorns. That's Ryan Riley. Junior defensive end. Get in on the action there. Second down. 2 receivers right, 1 receiver left. Elijah Reed in. He's going to get that and met right at the line of scrimmage. Going to bring up a 3rd down for the Longhorns.
As you mentioned, the Jones Longhorns aren't unfamiliar to Chisholm. We did scrimmage each other. I believe it was at Cushing at the start of the year. So some of the stuff that we have seen that that the Jones Longhorns are able to kind of throw on other teams that won't be as unfamiliar to the Chisholm Longhorns.
3rd down. Oh, Caden Carl was in the area, but that was a good play right there by number 32, Caleb Griffin, for the Longhorns, the Chisholm Longhorns, and that's going to be a 3-and-out for Jones. And so let's see. You've got a trips right bunch and 3 to the left as well. Oftentimes you've seen Carson May kick this, but every once in a while they'll do a fake in here. May is going to kick that. Line drive kick takes a Jones Longhorn bounce, going to go inside the 20. Going to be downed at the 16-yard line, and that is where the Chisholm Longhorns will take over here tonight.
That was a 45-yard punt by May. Well, the Chisholm Longhorns will take the field, and their quarterback is number 1, Bryce Patton. And number 10 looks like Luke Bellini. Bellini keeps the ball straight ahead and runs for Chisholm first down. First play of the game. Now Patton comes in to run the backfield. That was a handoff to number 22, John Duran Shepard.
Bring up a second down for Chisholm. Patton has thrown for a little over 1,000 yards this year, 11 touchdowns. Handoff the fullback, and he's going to push down about a yard shy of the first down to bring up about a 3rd and 1 for Chisholm.
Running back Heston Daniels.
Big 3rd down play for Chisholm. They're going to quarterback sneak. He's going to have the first down up to about the 43-yard line. That will be a first down for the Chisholm Longhorns.
And that's the second first down that they've had on a quarterback sneak. Straight up the middle, just kind of lining up right under center and just pushing forward. We'll expect to see the nose tackle for the Longhorns kind of slide in and start holding up that center a little bit longer.
Keeper along the right side.
You get a flag on the play. Back around where you're probably going to have holding. And that's the call, holding against the Chisholm Longhorns.
Now, a lot of the playmakers for Chisholm are going to have some pretty good size to them. Luke Balenti stands at 6'3". Their leading wideout, Cody Wickert, is 6'2", and quarterback Bryce Patton at 6 feet. And so there is some size, good size here in this Chisholm Longhorn team. But that penalty will push back a pretty promising run, and so that's going to push the ball back all the way to the 35-yard line. 1st and long for the Chisholm Longhorns.
You got Ty Tucker breaking on the edge. It's again number 22, John Duran Shepard. It was a good play by Shepard to cut it back and go back to the right side. It looked like the run was going to be to the left, and then as the ball was snapped, you had Ty Tucker kind of sneaking in on the outside on a blitz, and Shepard was able to cut it back across and get a yard.
Met in the backfield. That's a tremendous tackle. Cameron Estrada with the strong tackle. Going to bring up 3rd and a mile.
Shepard didn't have much of a chance on that one. He was stood up right at the line. It was a great play. Expect to see the Chisholm Longhorns make their first pass of the night here.
Patton lined up over center. He's going to look back. And that looks like that might be a backwards pass. That's a live ball. And that is going to be a Kiwanis Club turnover. As Dylan Carpenter is going to fall on that, and the Jones Longhorns are in business.
It's an interesting play. The pass was to number 50, Cody Cross, which was listed as a lineman. I didn't see where he was lined up, but obviously lined up as probably an eligible receiver as a tight end. And he was able to. My guess would be is that they were going to have a trick play where he was going to throw back. But he was unable to haul the ball in, and it was a Kiwanis Club turnover.
Carson May over the right-hand side fakes the pitch, going to hop over a defender, and he gets down to about the 5-yard line. That's going to be good for a bank first down.
as we spoke at the start of the game, Carson May is the leading rusher for the Longhorns this year, so the quarterback keepers are not something that's uncommon for this Longhorns team.
After bank first down, Elijah Reed over to the left in pursuit. Is he going to get away? He is not. He's brought down about the 15-yard line. Pretty big loss there on first down.
That's going to make it 2nd and goal from the 13-yard line. So 8-yard loss on the play. Good job by the Chisholm Longhorns by stretching that out in their corner, coming up and making that tackle on Reed.
May gets a snap, looking around. He's going to take the pass. That is a little bit too tall for Trey Durrell. Going to bring up 3rd down and goal from about the 13-yard line.
And that was one of those tall defensive backs you mentioned, number 80, Cody Weichert, which is also one of their top wide receivers on the defense on that one, and was able to kind of show up right at the same time that pass did.
Big 3rd down upcoming for the Longhorns and the Longhorns. 3 receivers right, 1 receiver left. May gets a shotgun snap. He's going to get... Oh, he gets away from that. He's going to throw it. He's got... Oh, and that is incomplete in the end zone. Great scrambling by May to stay away from that. I thought he was going to get sacked for sure, but he got away, but wasn't quite able to connect in the end zone.
And that was a good job of May of staying in the pocket as long as he possibly could. I think that's part of the maturity he's had over the course of this season. At the first of the season, as soon as he felt any pressure, he was bailing out to the right. At that point in time, he was able to step up on that last play, avoid a tackle, and still get off a good pass.
4th down. May goes to the end zone. And that is a bank first touchdown.
Emmett Murphy
with the catch. An excellent catch. There, the defender was there to break it up and kind of pushed it out of his hands, but he was able to maintain control as he made it to the ground.
Yeah, and that just goes back to the depth of the receiving corps that the Jones Longhorns team has. We have 3 receivers over 400-plus yards on the season. You have Caden Carl, Trey Durrell, and then Elijah Reed. But then you have Emmett Murphy catching that pass, who has over 300 yards. So Carson May spreads it around very well. It's just a great play.
And they blow that play dead. Got offsides.
Not a call you see all that often. Offsides on the offense. We are apparently just lined up completely offsides. It wasn't a false start. Wasn't illegal shift or anything. It was just complete offsides.
Let's see how they're still in this interesting formation. May is going to throw that up. Oh! And that is going to be complete.
Ty Tucker on the rebound.
It was intended for Caden Carl, the defender, number 11, Parker Warnock. Hit it, but Ty Tucker was able to step in and catch it for the 2-point conversion. That brings the score to the Jones Longhorns 8, Chisholm Longhorns 0. This is the OSSAA presentation of Oklahoma high school football. And tonight, we were with the Jones Journal. I'd like to thank a couple of the sponsors. Go Wireless is Oklahoma's premier wireless internet. Check out their website at go-wireless.us. And Bank First. The Jones Journal invites all our listeners to stop by your local Bank First to check out their incredibly low interest rates and all the benefits of the loyalty checking account. Bank First, loyal to the Longhorns, loyal to you. And a good drive after the turnover.
Yeah, I think that's something Matt, we talk about in every single game, whether it's the Jones Longhorns or making the turnover or creating the turnover. Turnovers are what win and lose games. And if you score points off those turnovers, those are the deal breaker. If you have a lot of turnovers in a game, you're going to give up a lot of points. And fortunately here, the Jones Longhorns were able to capitalize on that first turnover in the Chisholm Longhorns territory and punch it in the end zone.
Yeah, I was looking at the stats. So Luke Valenti, number 10 for the Chisholm Longhorns, is the leading rusher on the teams, the second leading receiver, and he also has an interception return on his resume for this year. So he's found a way in the end zone in multiple ways, and so one of those tremendous athletes we'll have to keep an eye out tonight. Oh,
Ball's on
the
the ground,
ground.
and that's
The
another one
Longhorns
right there.
may have it.
Jones Kiwanis Club.
That is a Jones Kiwanis Club turnover. And the Jones Longhorns are again going to get the ball with excellent field position at the 30-yard line. This may be one of those situations, Chris, where you might see May try to take a shot into the end zone. One of his talented receivers.
I think you definitely. What kind of surprises me on this is that you have. We'll see if he motions out, but you have Elijah Reed in the backfield. Elijah is your speedster. I would have expected to see him motion out, and May go for the deep ball.
Sending Emmett Murphy off or something.
Yeah, they're.
Oh, it's sleep.
So it looks like Emmett Murphy had his play call set strapped up on the top of his shoulder, which I think that if they are to have those in the game, they have to be on the wrist, and I think that's what the side judge was calling it dead, telling him he needed to adjust it and he needed to leave the field until he had that adjusted.
Two receivers left, one receiver right. Reed in the backfield with May. It is going to be a handoff to May. It's going to squirt down to about the 24-yard line. Gain of about 6 on first down. Bring up second down.
Murphy comes back onto the field now that he's adjusted his uniform.
And he'll line up on that left side along with Caden Carl, Trey Durrell on the right. May gets a shotgun snap.
Pass to Carl.
Carl is going to make up. We do have a flag. It looks like.
I think Emmett Murphy locked up with his defensive back over there and was doing a great job of blocking, but just held on a little bit too long. Probably going to have holding, which will bring us back to probably about the same spot that we were at.
Still be looking at about a 2nd and 4.
So a net 1-yard gain.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Works out for the Jones Longhorns on that play, other than the fact that you would love to be 10 yards ahead or 11 more yards ahead, but you still get the same down. And we'll do the same play on the opposite side of the field. Unfortunately, not the same result.
Yeah, you'd like to catch Carl in stride on that one. Did have a little bit of room on that right side, but unfortunately the pass and the wasn't quite there, and Carl caught that as he was falling down. He'll bring up 3rd down for Jones.
The ball could have a little bit of moisture on it, as we talked about. We're using a different camera, and we have our cameraman inside here with us because before the game, we had a pretty good little shower that come down the field. So the field's going to have a little bit of moisture on it. And that could have been the reason that May kind of missed his target.
May's going to move forward, and I don't think he's going to get that.
Chisholm Longhorns ended up with the ball at the end of the play. I think they were the umpires have ruled May as forward progress was stopped, but
that's going to bring up 4th down and extremely short.
May's kind of come up a little bit tender on his left leg, kind of limping around.
I'm out.
And
The Longhorns
they
will get the timeout.
They will take a timeout, and we will take a timeout as well. This is the OSSAA presentation of Oklahoma high school football. This is the Jones Journal, and we will thank some of our commercial sponsors. Welcome back to the OSSA presentation of Jones High School football. Reed's going to get it. He's going to have
a first down
first
and
down
more.
and a little bit more. That is a bank first down and a bank first touchdown for Elijah Reed.
It's a 21-yard touchdown run there by Elijah Reed, putting us up 14-0 with the 2-point conversion or extra point coming.
This interesting formation, again, it's going to be a direct snap to Reed. He's going to squirt in for the 2-point conversion, putting the Jones Longhorns up 16-0.
2 turnovers, 2 touchdowns. It's a great job of the Jones Longhorns capitalizing, striking early, setting the tone of the game.
Let's go ahead and thank another one of our sponsors. The Jones Kiwanis Club invites you to the inaugural Christmas tree lighting on Friday, November 27th, that's Black Friday, from 6 to 8 p.m. at Beatty Mulhausen Park. Help us welcome in the Christmas season with caroling, hot chocolate, cookies, and more. That's the Jones Kiwanis Club.
Sounds like a fun event right there.
Yeah, that's going to be a new event they're putting on, putting up a Christmas tree in the park along Main Street in Jones and lighting that up and just kind of trade an annual event out of that. So the inaugural event will be this Black Friday.
It's great to see the additions to the park down there with the disc golf course, the trees, and just the ball's on the ground.
Chisholm Longhorns will get pretty good field position up here at the 32. Yeah, and also with the school bond issue that was passed, they broke ground on the elementary school addition. The old playground equipment will be donated to the city of Jones, or the town of Jones City, and that will be put at Beatty Mulhausen Park. So just another way that they can benefit. Chisholm's coming back after the last 2 offensive plays have resulted in turnovers. Let's see what...
You got Luke Bellinti coming in as your quarterback.
Valenti's going to get caught in the back and get up to about the 36-yard line. But like we said, he's the leading rusher for the team, second leading receiver, leads the team in touchdowns. And so I think when they need a spark, they're going to look for who they can. So the 6'3" Valenti is where they're going to look.
And that's only the second play he's been on the field for offense tonight. It was the very first play of the game. He ran that quarterback sneak under center, and he ran for 11 yards, kind of went off the field. Seems to be favoring that right leg quite a bit. And so it makes you kind of wonder if with Patton out there playing quarterback those first couple of series that, they were trying to make sure that Valenti could make a go of it, and here he's out there now.
He's going to run up the middle, and he's met right about the line of scrimmage and bring up a 3rd and long for the Chisholm Longhorns.
You have Blinty in the shotgun.
Blinty's going to hand that off. Number 22, John Duran Shepard. Not going to get far, and that's going to bring up fourth down for Chisholm.
It appears the punt team will be coming onto the field with it being 4th and 8 yards in your own territory. Looks like Shepard is your punter as well as the running back, so we'll see what he can get off.
At least in his warm-up kick, looks like he's got pretty good form.
His flexibility is definitely a lot better than mine.
Reed's going to take that about the 30, 35, the right side 40, up to the sideline, 45, 50. You know, cut in 40, 45, tackled at about the 32-yard line. And even after the Chisholm Longhorns punt, the Jones Longhorns will start another drive right around the 30-yard line.
A 36-yard return for Elijah Reed. And I'll say that the punt return team on that did an excellent job. Well, we had to have the view of right here watching the punt return team as they were setting up a wall, and they had a lot of opportunity to have some crackback blocks that would have negated that gain, and they all avoided making those blocks.
Oh, Caden Carl, great concentration, able to haul that in. That's going to be a bank first down. So Carl caught that, was hit immediately, which I've been impressed by the Chisholm defenders.
Yeah, and that's Weichert again. That's the receiver, their leading receiver, the one that broke up the pass in the end zone originally. That was just he has great timing, not getting there too early to draw the flag. It's just we've had luck on our side a few times tonight on those catches.
Carl on the right side, gonna get a few yards. Bring up 2nd down for the Jones Longhorns. Trips right. He's going to hand up. Dakota Calvert in.
Calvert's certainly seen a lot more carries as of late, coming in kind of as that more power back that we're accustomed to seeing Corbin Cox come in and play, allowing Cox to kind of focus more on the defensive side of the ball and let Calvert kind of be that bruiser type of running back.
I talked to Coach Durrell a little bit after the Guthrie game last week, and he was really impressed with Calvert's ability to finish on runs and had a couple of key instances. May, we go to the left-hand side. He's going to get to the 1st down and a little bit more. That's going to be a bank first down.
No, that's a bank first touchdown.
That's a bank first touchdown.
We have 7 seconds left in the first quarter. Score 22-0, Jones Longhorns.
We'll pull together the first quarter stats here before too long, but the yardage probably isn't going to be too impressive, as the score would suggest. But that's just what's going to happen when you have a 2 turnovers and 1 excellent punt return. Direct snap to Reed, that exact same play. He's going to scoot his way in.
Yeah, Matt, if you would have...
it looks like we do have a flag.
Flag on the play. Looks like, false start on the offense. So they'll back it up 5 and try it again. But as of right now, for the first quarter, not counting this 2-point conversion, we have 22 points off of 78 total yards. So that definitely shows that the punt return and the 2 turnovers have played a huge part of the game, along with the defense playing great, allowing only 21 yards of offense to the Chisholm Longhorns. Jones Longhorns will take their 2nd timeout at the half.
And so we'll go ahead and take a timeout as well. This is the OSSAA presentation of Oklahoma high school football. Welcome back to the OSSAA presentation of Oklahoma High School football. This is Jones versus Chisholm, the first round of the two-way playoffs. Carson May's got plenty of time on this point after attempt.
No good.
That is going to be incomplete, no good, so the score will remain Jones 22, Chisholm 0. But so the last time the Chisholm Longhorns had the ball, they really came out. So they put Luke Valenti in as quarterback, but you could tell they were keeping it pretty conservative after turning it over 2 drives in a row. Now being down 22-0, you kind of have to wonder what their offensive philosophy is going to be coming in to this next drive.
Yeah, and Valenti didn't look 100%. He is very much so favoring that right leg. Makes you wonder what his health status is, if you're going to see Patton come back out as a quarterback, set up in shotgun and maybe try some passes, because when you're down 22-0, in the first quarter, you're going to have to try to start stretching the field, get some points on the board, or it will get out of control really quick. Also, got to give credit to the Chisholm Longhorns and their fans. They brought out quite a few tonight from that long haul down from northwest Oklahoma.
The kick, fielded at the 25-yard line. Met at
good
about
hits.
30.
That will finish the quarter out. We will go into the second quarter.
And that is the end of the first quarter. This is the OSSAA presentation of Oklahoma High School football. Welcome back to the OSSAA presentation of Oklahoma High School football here in this first round matchup between the Jones Longhorns and the Chisholm Longhorns. The first play of the second quarter with the Chisholm offense on the field. Trailing 22-0, looks like Bryce Patton's back in at quarterback for the Longhorns.
Yeah, it just makes you wonder about the health of Valenti. I know Patton is their quarterback and he's passed the ball, but with Valenti not on the field, being their Mr. Longhorn.
Handoff.
Number 40.
About the 35-yard line.
Heston Daniels.
And on the tackle for the Longhorns, number 12, Cameron Sweat.
Cameron Sweat with the tackle.
If you're going to pass the ball, I would expect to see them throw it to number 80 right here, Weichert. He's that tall receiver we talked about playing as defensive or as free safety, but it's broken up a lot of passes. But they're going to keep it on the ground.
That's number 22.
John Duran Shepard.
Bring up a third down. And long.
And Valenti comes out on the field. You'll have both Valenti and Patton.
So Valenti's out, and number 80 is on that far left side. Patton's going to roll out, and he's going to slip and fall, and that's where that play's going to end. And so it's going to bring up fourth down for Chisholm.
And I didn't see the number of the defensive end for the Jones Longhorns on that far right side, but he essentially blew up that entire play. You had Patton come across in motion, and he was rolling out to the left, and he was going to be out on the wing, and they were just going to kind of dump it off to him in the flats. That was the whole plan. That defensive end just hit Patton, knocked him completely to the ground, or hit Valenti, knocked him completely to the ground, and Patton had nowhere to go with it.
And
so it's fourth and
like
incredibly long, and they're lined up to go for it. It looks like the Chisholm Longhorns will call a timeout with 10 minutes and 8 seconds left in the second quarter.
So they will take a timeout. We will do a timeout as well on the OSSAA presentation of Oklahoma high school football. Looks like the Chisholm Longhorns are lined up to punt now. Shepard back to receive the punt. Steps into it. Another good kick. Reed's going to have to backpedal for this one, and it's going to let it go out of bounds. And you got to think for the Chisholm coaches, they're going to look at that as an absolute win, keeping the ball away from Elijah Reed and giving the Jones Longhorns the ball on the Jones side of the field for the first time since the very first drive of the game.
Yeah, it was a great punt by Shepard. I think that's probably been one of the bright spots is his punting for the Chisholm Longhorns so far. But keeping the ball out of Elijah Reed's hands, whether it be on a kickoff return or a punt return, is absolutely paramount to the Chisholm Longhorns not giving up field position.
Reed, and again, squirts around, gets about 2 or 3 yards. It's about the 42-yard line. Gonna bring up second down for the Jones Longhorns.
Be 9:30 left in the quarter.
Reed's going to go out in motion, empty backfield. Quick
Carl.
pass over to Caden Carl. Got a little bit of room to midfield. 45-40, 35-30, 25-20, 15. Turn that horn loose. Touchdown, Longhorns. That's a big first touchdown.
58-yard touchdown pass. 58 yards. A great pitch and catch. A little swing. They've done that. The swing pass they've done out several times tonight. Out to Carl. He was able to break the first 2 tackles, and once he got loose, it was just a foot race, and he was able to outrun that last Chisholm defender.
If you go back and watch the film on this one, there was a chance the Chisholm defender was just about an inch away from hitting that ball, and was able to connect with Carl, and Carl made it the rest of the way, and it's a great touchdown. 28-0 Jones.
And the 2-point conversion coming. Another snap to Elijah Reed. And he is stopped.
Good. That one play almost totaled the rest of the yardage for the first quarter. But still, the importance to the score on the board is Jones 28, Chisholm 0. early here in the second quarter. Let's take some time to thank the Overman Legal Group. The Overman Legal Group wishes all the student athletes a safe and successful season. Visit overmanlegal.com to see why Overman Legal is Oklahoma's top-rated law firm. Go Longhorns! And would also like to thank the Jones Assembly of God. At Jones Assembly of God, our goal is to connect you to others, to God, and to your purpose. Join us Sundays at 11 a.m. and make the connection. We'd also like to thank those of you who are watching at home and across the country, but I know that the Chisholm Athletic Director shared that with some of the Chisholm fans, and so if you are here watching us from Chisholm or a Chisholm fan, we thank you for tuning in with us. This clash between the Longhorns and the Longhorns, as they lock horns, if you will.
Well done. Well done, Matt. Weichert will receive the kick.
Up there, 20. He slips and falls. In a game like this, you really look for any spark that you can, and I think he saw a seam that he might be able to get some good yardage there, but just slipped and fell on this turf. They got a little bit of moisture on it tonight.
He's one of their big playmakers too. So they, getting the ball in his hands on any play is important for them. On those kickoffs, being able to have him returning the ball, getting it to him, is an opportunity for them to have a big play, and for him slipping and falling really hurt. And the Chisholm Longhorns are going to keep it on the ground. The handoff to Shepard. He'll gain a few. The 8.5 left in the half. Be second down and 7 yards for the Longhorns. Another handoff. That was stopped right in the backfield.
There's
a handoff to Shepard as well.
Down and long.
So a loss of 1 on the play. Doesn't make a third and roughly 8 yards to go. And the Jones Longhorns defensive backs have done a great job all season. I'm surprised that we haven't seen Chisholm at least try to challenge him a little bit deeper down the field. Everything's been kind of short dump or running the ball. And once again, that was another little a pass to the outs, not enough to get the first down. Was a 1 yard gain, so it'll be 4th and 7. And the Chisholm punt team will come on the field, and Elijah Reed will go back. And anytime that he's back receiving the ball, he is a danger to any defensive team.
And it's going to be another kick away from Elijah Reed. And they're going to say that fell out about the 49-yard line, which is where the Jones Longhorns will take over. Taking a look at some scores around the state, the most relevant to us right here tonight is the Luther Lions are on top of the Crossings Christian Knights 14-0 in the second quarter. And of course, the winner of that contest will take on the winner of this contest right here between Jones and Chisholm. Longhorn offense back on the field. 3 receivers right, or 3 receivers left, 1 right.
Calvert gets the ball. No gain on the play. Yeah, Matt, like you talked about, and it's a unique playoff system this year, where everyone in Class 2A or across the state had the opportunity to compete in the state playoffs. And so, the home field advantage isn't necessarily there, unfortunately, because the Longhorns are rated number 2 in the state from Max Preps. That's not the OSSAA. But because they're at the bottom of the bracket, next week, no matter what, whether they play Luther or Crossing Christians, or if Chisholm Longhorns win, they'll be traveling to that winner.
And it looks like they are going to get Carson May for intentional grounding. He threw the ball past the line of scrimmage. There was not a receiver remotely in the area. And that's what it's going to be. It's going to bring up a 3rd and long for the Longhorns, the Jones Longhorns. Yeah, Chris, and even with the Oklahoman has Jones rated 4th in the state. And so of the major rating services, agencies, that you will, the outlets, both have a Jones rate for extremely high. Yeah, but, I was talking to Coach Martin after the brackets were released on Sunday. And, both Jones has played both of their next round opponents, whoever it's going to be, Crossings or Luther. Screen
pass to, is it Durrell?
Able to get a lot of that back to about the 45-yard line. And so it's going to be a 3rd and long, but at least
fourth and 13.
I guess that's true. There was a loss of down.
Loss of down on that intentional grounding.
So
always hurts you. So we'll see that unique formation where May will line up a couple yards deeper and decide whether or not he wants to make a pass or punt it away. The Chisholm Longhorns won't put anybody back.
And it's going to take a throw. Oh, and it's just out of the reach of Ty Tucker.
We got a flag on the play over here on the far side of the field. Looks like may have offsides. Well, there's an ineligible receiver downfield.
Looking at how that developed, I wasn't entirely sure that that was drawn up as a pass play up the middle, and so
I think that play is set up like that every time, and they just take off running. And on that particular play, Chisholm brought the house. They were going to block the punt if Carson would have attempted to punt it, and so he just stepped forward and kind of just threw the pass up.
You had those bunch receivers.
And I think that inside receiver is who was that ineligible receiver. I think he was covered up because he wasn't off the line, but he was continuing to run down the field.
And because typically they throw that behind, he catches it behind the line of scrimmage and runs on. We saw that against Millwood.
Yep.
That was used. And so good field position here for the Chisholm Longhorns.
That's Shepard on the couple yards.
But I said, talking to Coach Martin so Luther and Crossings, Jones has played both those teams. Played Chisholm in preseason. I asked Coach Martin, have you ever had a time where you have seen in some way, shape, or form your first 2 rounds? And he said, no. Like, we've had repeats in the past, but never where the first 2 rounds could potentially be someone that we have at least some degree of familiarity with. Just another one of the areas that's just extremely unique about this 2020 season.
Yeah, you usually see on that first round of playoffs, you're playing, another district from, sometimes, not completely across the state, but it's a completely different district that you're not local to, and so you're not used to seeing those teams at all. So seeing both teams in next round and then having seen Chisholm is definitely a unique situation, which is only right for it being 2020.
Looks like Patton is going to step off. Oh, it comes back. In the gun. Rolling out.
Back to Valenti, who took a huge hit.
It's going to be incomplete.
Valenti's getting up slow along with, it was Caden Carl on the hit. And that'll make 4th and 8 yards to go. And Shepard will drop back to punt it away. Elijah Reed will run onto the field for the return. Beautiful punt. Oh, it just gets a bounce forward into the end zone. That was a great punt by Shepard. Beautiful spiral and landed right at the 2-yard line. If only it would have kicked back.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Shepherd's leg here tonight. And the Jones Longhorns will take over at their 20-yard line.
4:50 remaining in the half. 28-0.
Two receivers right, two receivers left. Elijah Reed in motion. He's going to get that and sweep. Got to get a few more yards out to the right. Bring up second down for Jones. We'll call that 2nd and 8. Trips left, one right. May gets a shotgun snap. He's going to hand that off. Looks like it's Dakota Calvert.
Calvert again on the carry. Move forward for maybe a gain of 1 or maybe no gain. Make it 3rd and long.
With Chisholm not taking that many passes and the Jones running game going as well, this second quarter has ticked off pretty quickly. May's going to be looking. Going to be incomplete, and there is going to be a back judge is going to throw that flag.
Yeah, that's 40 was Heston Daniels' defensive back. Looked like he had hold of was that Durrell on the far side. Kind of had hold of him, didn't let him get loose, and I think Heston appears to be a little bit upset about it, but I think that was the appropriate call.
Really had him held up as they were.
You could kind of see the jersey being pulled from even up here in the press box.
That will be good for a Jones first down. It's a bank first down. 1st and 10 upcoming for the Jones Longhorns. Quick pass, met immediately in the backfield.
Yeah,
Really
Heston Daniels
cover.
making up for that last penalty, came up, fired up, and made a big hit on Caden Carl. Taking that little bit of aggression on being upset about that penalty.
You know, Caden Carl had a great quote last week. Of course, he caught that game winner against Guthrie. Asked him what was going through his mind as that ball was coming over. He had to catch it over his shoulder. He said, it's scary, but Carson's crazy, but he throws a good ball. Carson throws it together. That is going to be incomplete in and out of the hands of Caden Carl.
That's normally one that Carl brings in right there. It's right in his hands, just couldn't come up with it this time. Make it 3rd and 11.
Trips left, one right. May, back. He's going to pick that out to Reed. He's got some space. Reed reaches out for it, but that is going to land incomplete. 4th down upcoming for the Jones Longhorns, and the punt team will come out.
Right through Reed's hands. It was almost a beautiful throw and catch. The Longhorns will punt it away.
Chris
and this will
Veer.
be your true punt formation.
Chris Veer out to punt for the Longhorns.
We'll end over end punt. Get a Longhorn roll. Down to the 22-yard line.
Down by Corbin Cox.
Just outside of the Chisholm 22-yard line. They're going to start their possession now on the first and 10.
2 minutes and 28 seconds left in the half. Longhorns up 28-0. Jones Longhorns.
Well, you're right either way.
Right.
And, it's another hey, under center. Gonna hand off to Shepard. Ooh.
Shepard's a tough running back. Just
And it looks like there is a little bit of extracurricular activity. Let's see where they're going to call that. Looked like coming out of the pile, Shepard and Martin were.
yeah, sounds like one of the two were engaging in some ostentatious behavior.
Ah, ostentatious. That word may come up again before too long. Looks like we're going to have dead ball personal foul.
Unsportsmanlike contact. Looks like it's going to be probably on Shepard. It looks like he wasn't happy with one of the Jones Longhorns players, and they kind of were having some words back and forth, and that's when the flag came out. And that's a tough penalty for Chisholm, because that play had netted them some positive yards. They were in a good position to move the ball forward, and then it just really sets you back.
Heston had a little bit of room on the left side, but good pursuit and tackle. Corbin Cox again grabbing that tackle.
That'll bring up 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13 with 1:51 remaining in the half. Be interesting to see what the Chisholm Longhorns do here, if they keep it on the ground, which they will.
Yeah, Shepard's going to get just a few yards over there to the left side.
See, the Jones Longhorns will take a timeout to stop the clock with 1:29 left in the half, and kind of force the Chisholm Longhorns to punt the ball away and have at least some form of an opportunity to maybe put some points on the board before we go into the locker room.
We'll see how long of a timeout this will be. We'll just keep it here. Another interesting aspect of the 2020 playoffs and the OSSAA has made the rule that teams can play beyond the playoffs, and so there can still be regular season games that take place during these upcoming weeks. And so I hesitate to say that the loser of this game, their season is over, because there could be some other games, because there are other teams that would not have made the playoffs in a typical year getting extra games this year. And so just another one of the weird things in 2020.
It's definitely a unique situation, and I'm sure if the Jones Longhorns were not successful tonight, I'm sure Coach Martin would love to see a couple more games if they were available to schedule up some with some teams.
And you think some of those things seem impossible, but that game last week against Guthrie was Coach Dave Martin found out at 9:30 in the morning that the Meeker game was canceled, and it was a little after 11 a.m. that we found out officially that it was going to be Guthrie and Jones for the regular season finale. So.
Yeah, there was a lot of work done behind the scenes on that to make that game happen.
Once again, Chisholm tried to kick the ball away from Elijah Reed, and that ball does not travel far, so the Longhorns will still get outstanding field position on the Chisholm side of the field. They're going to mark this at about the 40-yard line.
Yeah, I think that was Shepard's first punt of the night that just hasn't been, very well placed. But yeah, as we were talking about that scheduling that Guthrie game and the cancellation of the Meeker game, I was at the groundbreaking of the elementary school on last Friday morning to help to watch that and to see the great things that are happening here in Jones. I was talking to Dr. Johnson as well, and he said, our games got canceled. And within 30 minutes, he's like, we're on the phone right now with Guthrie. We're going to see if we can get a game
And
scheduled.
that's going to be complete. Emmett Murphy, bank first down and goal.
And the Coach Martin, Dr. Johnson, and the staff here with the Jones Longhorns were able to put that game together in a matter of 30, 40 minutes, which was absolutely amazing to know that, you had a game canceled. You thought that, there was no game this week. We're not going to be able to play. And then turn around like, no, we're going to bring one of the better 5A teams in the state to our field and play them. And we're actually successful in winning the game, which is something that a lot of people didn't think would happen on that.
Against a team that is not playing right now because they got a bye in the first round of the 5A playoffs.
Right. It's
May in trouble, still on his feet, and he finally is brought down.
And unfortunately, I believe the Jones Longhorns are out of timeouts, so there's 30 seconds left. And they'll have to hustle up to get the play off.
Trips right, one receiver left.
Ball on the 10-yard line.
Oh, in and out of the hands of Emmett Murphy.
It's a tough break right there. That ball just hit Murphy right in the chest in the end zone, and he just could not hold on to it. You got 18 seconds remaining in the half. The ball on the 13-yard line, and it's fourth down. So you either put it in the end zone or it's a turnover.
May gets a shotgun snap, looking to the end zone. He fires, and that is going to touch the turf, not fall incomplete, and the Chisholm Longhorns will take
Just
over.
off of the hands of Caden Carl. So the Jones Longhorns did a great job moving the ball down the field, had an opportunity to punch it in, which is all you can ask. Just couldn't capitalize on that opportunity. My assumption is that we'll see with 12 seconds remaining, Chisholm will just run out the clock and go in at 28-0 at half.
And that is what's going to happen.
Patton will take a knee, and we'll go to the half.
And so here is what we're going to do today. About 20 minutes, and so we're going to go to the game detail screen. We'll thank our sponsors really quick, and we'll come back on the air here in about 20 minutes. That's going to be about 8:20 local time. This is the OSSAA presentation of Oklahoma High School football. This is your broadcast crew from the Jones Journal. Welcome back to the OSSAA presentation of Oklahoma High School football. This is the Jones Journal presenting this broadcast for the OSSAA. Thank you to the OSSAA for letting us do this first round playoff matchup between the Jones Longhorns and the Chisholm Longhorns. As the Jones Longhorns are set to kick off, are ahead 28-0. And that's dropped. Got a little bit of space up to 30, 35, gonna spin, and it gets brought down. Pretty good field position for the Chisholm Longhorns for this first possession of the second half.
Yeah, this will be a great opportunity for the Jones Longhorns to, kind of come out, provide some stout defense, kind of set the tone for the second half. 28-0, you have a good lead. You can't get complacent. Meanwhile, I would expect to see, you start off with a run, but I would expect to see the Chisholm Longhorns starting to open up the playbook and start passing the ball a little bit more downfield probably.
Josh Dotson on the run up to midfield. That's going to be good for a Chisholm first down. They're sticking with this bunch formation with Patton under center. Patton changed the play. The handoff is back again to Dotson.
It's a new running back for the Chisholm Longhorns.
And he is stopped about the 49-yard line in Jones Longhorn territory. Second down and 9 upcoming for Chisholm. Man in motion. It's going to be back to Dodson again. Stopped right there at the line of scrimmage.
Get third and roughly 7 for the Chisholm Longhorns. The 47 of the Jones Longhorns.
And here we go for third down.
Set up in a really tight formation. Everybody bunched up.
Dodson going back to pass. That is complete. But a quick tackle right there. Dylan Carpenter.
I think you're in a position, you're down 28-0. It's the start of the third quarter. You're in Jones territory. I would expect to see the Chisholm Longhorns go for this on fourth down. They are bringing the punt team on, but if I were the Jones Longhorns, I would prepare potentially for a fake.
Luke Valenti, number 10, is lined up on that left side. With that 6'3" frame, you could do a really quick pass to him. And so let's keep a look at that. Oh, it almost had a jump right there. But it's McKeck. Reed's going to take that on the bounce over the right side, 20. Got some room, 25-30. Going to get the side, 35-40. Midfield, 45-40. Pushed out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Elijah Reed with another electric punt return. And the Jones Longhorns are going to be set up here.
And as always, anytime that Elijah Reed gets the ball in his hands, he's incredibly dangerous. And that's why throughout the first half, the Chisholm Longhorns did a great job of punting the ball away from him other than the one big return he had. And that was another 51-yard return for Elijah Reed, who's racked up some incredible punt return yards tonight. May will hand off to Elijah Reed, who has some wide open field. Good for about a 12, 13-yard gain and
good for a bank first down. Nine minutes left here in the third quarter. The Jones Longhorns opening drive here in the second half. Got two receivers right, one left. May gets a shotgun snap. Gains a few yards up the middle. Bring up second down.
And tackle number 32, John Shelton.
Two receivers right, one receiver left. May gets a shotgun snap. Hands it to Reed. Got some room in the middle. Takes a cut. That is going to be a bank first touchdown for Elijah Reed. That's going to bring your score to Jones Longhorns 34, Chisholm Longhorns 0.
It was a great play. Elijah Reed, once he received that handoff, it was nothing but pay dirt in front of him, and was able to take it straight to the house. Longhorns will set up in the swinging gate.
The pass is immediately to May, who throws that. It's going to be a little bit too wide, so that's going to leave the score. Longhorns 34, Longhorns 0. 8:13 left here in the third quarter. You know, when you get the ball with field position like the Jones Longhorns have tonight, Chris, it's going to be really easy to run up the score like this because they've had the ball at about the 35-yard line. I think that's 4 drives here. So only one of those drives, the touchdown drives, has taken place where they've started with the ball in their own territory.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about 2 turnovers and 2 big punt returns that have both been, great field position, and those have been, the scoring plays. You see that, whenever Jones has started with the ball, deep in their own territory, they haven't done necessarily a great job of moving the ball down the field. And so Chisholm just has to find a way to limit, putting the ball in Elijah Reed's hands on punts, and then the turnovers, and it'd be a lot closer game. And then probably start stretching the field a little bit more with the passing game if they can, to try to get some bigger plays, to put some points on the board and make it competitive. Meanwhile, for the Jones Longhorns, it was a great statement possession. You need to come out first possession of the half and putting some points up on the board really does set the tone.
Good strong kick by Veers. The wideout, Richard's going to take that. Gets up to about the 30-yard line. And that is where the Chisholm Longhorns will take over in their second drive here in the third quarter. That is where Patton and the Longhorns will take over.
Looks like the Chisholm Longhorns were missing a player as Valenti comes running onto the field.
Quick handoff.
Shepard on the carry.
Yep. Second down upcoming. Patton in the shotgun. Quick pass. And looks like we're gonna get a pass interference on Jones.
It was Dylan Carpenter on the defense, and he just kind of draped all over Wickard on that one. And that'll be 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down. Put the ball on the 47-yard line of Chisholm Longhorns.
Movement over to the left side. Patton in the shotgun. He's going to roll over to his left. He's looking, and here the pursuit. A lot of running there for about a 2-yard gain. It looks like we had a late hit come in, and the flag was thrown.
Yeah, it looked like one of the Jones Longhorns came in there at the last and added a little bit of extra activity on a late hit. So I expect to see a personal foul, unnecessary roughness, and we'll move the ball 15 yards forward on that carry. Which is disappointing because once again, the defensive end did a great job of blowing up the play, keeping Valenti, because he was kind of trying to get loose out in the flat. They hit Valenti, knocked him to the ground where Patton had no opportunity to throw the ball to Valenti. And so he had to kind of run forward, and it ends up being, an unfortunate play with a penalty.
And that's what it is going to be, a dead ball.
Oh,
wow.
That's not only a 15-yard penalty, we'll tack on 2 of them, so that's a 30-yard penalty, which is huge, and that's also something that we haven't really talked about tonight, but in games throughout this year, we've talked about penalties have plagued the Jones Longhorns. In some of the biggest games that they've had this year, penalties are what hurt them, losing yardage usually on offense where they get a big play called back or on a punt return. But yeah, this time, 30 yards worth of penalties on one play is definitely not the ideal situation.
And this is hands down the furthest that the Chisholm Longhorns have made it into Jones Longhorn territory. Patton, rolling right, looking to pass, connects with Valenti, but he's going to get brought down after a quick gain.
And I think that's the play they've been looking to try to roll out, to drop it out to Valenti on several of these big plays. It's just they've been able, the end or the linebacker covering Valenti is able to kind of drape him. On that one, it was Ty Tucker. But once Patton rolled out far enough, Tucker went towards Patton, and he was able to kind of just drop it off to Valenti.
Patton back under center. Now looking over to the left of the play. Patton's going to step back into the shotgun, and it looks
They
like...
had to call timeout. Looks like they were about to get a delay a game.
And so with their timeout on the field, we're going to take a timeout as well. This is the OSSAA presentation of Jones High School football versus the Chisholm Longhorns, and we will go to break. even with the speed and size that you have on the Jones side, some of these tall receivers could create some mismatches for a lot of teams.
Yeah, and that pass was kind of something that we've been talking about and expecting to see for for most of the game, kind of stretching, making the defensive players kind of defend some of those taller receivers. I would expect to see some more of those. Even though that was unsuccessful, I would expect to see some more deep passes at Wichert, just because of his height advantage out on the corner. That's 4th and 9.
Trips right, one left. The pressure's coming, connects, and he's going to be brought up short. And quite honestly, he made an extra cut. He probably didn't need to. That is Heston Daniels.
Yeah, it'll be a turnover, and it'll be a
that is a Jones Kiwanis Club turnover.
He was just 1 yard short. So it was a great job by Daniels to try to get that. It was a great effort by the Chisholm Longhorns, just come up a little bit short.
Carson May and the Longhorns take the field. 2 receivers left, 1 receiver right. Driver pass to Carl.
It's a good defensive play by number 7 and number 11 for the Chisholm Longhorns. They're stopping Carl for a short gain.
Absolutely, because if he breaks that tackle, he's got a lot of room in front of him.
Yeah, it's similar to that play that he had earlier where he kind of broke through those first 2, and then he was off to the races on that foot race on that long touchdown run.
Reed gets the handoff. Reed's got a little space. Gets out to just about the first down marker, but there's a flag right around the 20-yard line. Right around the spot of the field you'd imagine to see holding. So this is probably coming back.
And the Longhorns are backing up already, so it does appear that we'll be on the Longhorns and putting them back behind the chains for 2nd down.
With about 4 minutes and 48 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. With Jones ahead of Chisholm 34-0. May in the shotgun, 2 receivers left. Reed goes out in motion. May, that's going to be a little bit too tall for Caden Carl.
Just out of Carl's reach. One of the few misses of May tonight.
So that's going to bring up a 3rd down and long for the Longhorns.
Is that score right? 35?
Emmett Murphy connects, and that's going to be good for a bank first down.
It's a great job of Murphy getting just far enough to know where you're at, get to the sticks, knowing that all you had to do was catch it and fall forward for that 1st down.
So it's declined. So it's okay. So it's 34 to nothing. They got 35.
Reed makes a spin move, dives forward for a couple of extra yards. Two receivers right, 1 receiver left. May gets a shotgun snap. Caden Carl gets the reception, and that's going to be good for a bank first down.
It's really key right now for the Jones Longhorns to kind of have a long, sustaining drive, just to, burn that clock, get it down. Let's, continue to bleed it down, get to the fourth quarter with 34-0. Just kind of keep up the pace, but
Carl gets the connection. Going to make it into Chisholm territory. That's going to be good for a bank first down. Hit hard there at the end.
Yeah, another great pitch and catch with Carson May and Caden Carl tonight. Caden has definitely been the receiver of choice tonight. It's been a solid night for both of them.
Once again, and they're going to call, let's see, there's going to be an incomplete pass. That will stop the clock with 3:16 remaining in the third quarter. 2nd down 10 upcoming for the Jones Longhorns. Ball spotted at the Chisholm 48-yard line. May in the shotgun. Reed, and play is blown dead. It looks like we
late
do
whistle.
have a...
There's a flag on the play on the far side, but there was definitely a late whistle. False
start against the Jones Longhorns. With these penalties we've seen on both sides of the ball, I think it's going to be one of those things Coach Martin is going to emphasize with his team, the discipline that needs to happen going forward. Because
the penalties add up. They add up quick, and you have to clean it up if you're going to compete for a state championship.
Murphy makes it over to the sideline, gets pushed out there. To make this a manageable 3rd down upcoming. And
officials blow it dead and talking for a second. Not sure what they were discussing.
Yeah. Clock is running again. Two receivers right, one receiver left. Elijah Reed in the backfield with May. May gets a shotgun snap, gives it to Reed. And that is going to be
right at the marker. Looks like it's
right at there. Let's see.
Let's see the spot. And that's a 1st down.
They're moving the chains. That is a bank first down. 1st and 10 Longhorns. May.
Oh, he's got a receiver open over the middle.
He's going to be a little bit too tall for Durrell.
He had him early in the play. Durrell right about midfield. Durrell was wide open. Carson had looked back left, I think looking back at Murphy to see where Murphy was at. And once he came back to him in his progressions, it was just a little bit too late and had to move it back across the field.
Reed, the ball on the right side. He's got a little seam. And it looks like he's going to get enough for another bank first down. Let's see where they spot it. And they are moving the chains. That is a 1st down.
Another bank first down. It's been a great drive for the Longhorns, just rolling in under 2 minutes left in the quarter. Definitely keeping the clock running, ball moving down the field. Another pass completion to Caden Carl.
It looks like a pretty late flag came in there, and I wonder if this going to be
a face mask.
Face mask of some
probably
sort?
Probably an incidental face mask or something along
those
lines.
I didn't see anything that looked like it was warranting of unsportsmanlike or unnecessary roughness, so...
Yeah, 5-yard face mask, incidental contact. And that'll move it and give another bank first down. with the 1:55 remaining in the quarter.
2 receivers right, 1 receiver left. May gets a shotgun snap. Reed. Gonna get brought down. Clock continues to run. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Reed over on the left side. He's got some room. He stretches to the pylon. And he is in. That is a bank first touchdown. Elijah Reed with the score. That's going to bring the score to 40-0.
That's a great job by the Longhorns. That was over a 4-minute drive of moving down the field. I think we talked about it earlier in the game that they haven't had any of those long sustaining drives. Everything's been short. Whenever they got the ball deep in their own territory, they haven't really done a whole lot. This was a great opportunity for them to move the ball down the field, run the clock, keep it running, and
the ball's down. The kick is up. The kick is good. Nate Veers, freshman kicker, boots that through the uprights, brings the score to 41-0.
Oh, they got it. Unless they add it in. We'll see. Should be right.
1 minute, 15 seconds left here in the third quarter. With the Jones Longhorns in a commanding lead here. Let's take some time to thank some of the sponsors on the OSSAA presentation of Oklahoma High School football. Go Wireless is Oklahoma's premier wireless internet. Check out their website, go-wireless.us. Go Wireless says go Longhorns. And Bank First. The Jones Journal invites all our listeners to stop by your local Bank First to check out their incredibly low interest rates and all the benefits of the loyalty checking account. Bank First, loyal to the Longhorns, loyal to you. And the Jones Kiwanis Club. The Jones Kiwanis Club invites you to the inaugural Christmas tree lighting on Friday, November 27th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Beatty Mulhausen Park. Help us welcome in the Christmas season with caroling, hot chocolate, cookies, and more. That's the Jones Kiwanis Club.
little trick kick by Veers on that one. Not necessarily the kickoff that I think he was wanting to make. I think he was wanting a little pooch kick over to probably like the 30-yard line on the far side, but just kind of a miss hit, popped it up in the air, and the Chisholm Longhorns were able to catch it right at the 50 and just kind of take it down right there. So we'll see what the Chisholm Longhorns can do. 1 minute left in the third quarter. The last drive, they were actually moved the ball down the field pretty well, just couldn't capitalize in the red zone. We'll see if they can keep that momentum that they had going as far as on their offensive moving the ball and kind of put some points on the board. That's a handoff to number 25, Randy Russell.
The clock continues to run, about 40 seconds left here in this third quarter. And so I imagine we're probably looking at the last play.
Yeah, outside of incompletion, I think that the Chisholm Longhorns have managed to keep the ball on the ground quite a bit, even in the third quarter. So probably run it once again.
Yeah, only 8 pass attempts on the evening for Chisholm.
That's Russell again. Close to the marker. It looks like they'll probably give it to him.
Yeah, they will. They've reset
Clock
the clock.
will run, and that will likely be the last play. Chisholm's just not able to get everybody set in time.
So as we take the break into the fourth quarter, this is the Jones Journal presenting the Oklahoma High School football, the OSSAA presentation of the Oklahoma High School playoffs.
And welcome back to the OSSAA broadcast of the Jones Longhorns football. Chisholm will have the ball on the 40-yard line as Patton drops back to pass. Has a bullet thrown to Heston Daniels, who's able to catch it and bring it in. Oh, he dropped it. Looks like an incomplete pass. That'll make it 2nd and 10. Ball on the 40-yard line. Just inside the start of the 4th quarter here for the Chisholm Longhorns and Jones Longhorns.
2nd down, upcoming for Chisholm. Patton's going to roll out to the right. Going to take that pass. Ball's incomplete.
They just keep trying to get it to Valenti just to let him make plays, as he is their playmaker. But it's just they haven't been able to find any rhythm with him tonight on getting the ball in his hands, either in open field or under center. The couple plays that they did line him up at quarterback early in the game, they were successful. But I think that his right leg seemed to be a little bit tender, and he wasn't able to really kind of keep up that pace of those quarterback sneaks.
Patton.
It's to 21, Josh Dodson.
A herd of Longhorns on the tackle. The clock will continue to run. Big 4th down play upcoming for Chisholm. Trips right, 1 left. Patton in the shotgun. Looking back. Patton's rolling out to the right.
Well, he's got some room. We'll see what Ty Tucker's able to kind of push him out of bounds, just short of the 1st down marker. So that will be a turnover.
It will be short, and it will be a Jones Kiwanis Club turnover. And the Longhorn offense will take over.
Chisholm continues to put up a fight, not giving up, which you got to give them credit.
Now that we're in the 4th quarter, you may see some of the 2nd string coming in, and that is the case. In at quarterback for the Longhorns, Clayton Creasy, the 5'11" freshman. 2 receivers right, 2 receivers left. Dakota Calvert with the handoff. That'll bring up 2nd down. As we're sitting right now, on the night, Chisholm has 4 passing yards and 76 rushing yards.
Yeah, it's been a great showing by the Jones Longhorns defense. Also been a little bit surprising that the Chisholm Longhorns haven't attempted more passes because, in all the passes that they have done have been kind of some short passes. A little bit of the film that we watched earlier in the week on them, they've had some big pass plays on some of the teams that they've played recently. So I kind of expected to see, a couple of their receivers at least kind of attempted to kind of go at them on a deep route, but we just didn't have any tonight.
Dakota Calvert again on the run.
I mean, there's still 10 minutes left in the game. Jones Longhorns up 41-0. But just to kind of reach out and look forward to next week to whichever team will be moving forward, which as of right now it appears the Jones Longhorns will be. Looks like at this moment Luther Lions are up 28-14 in the 3rd quarter on Crossings Christian. So if everything holds, the Jones Longhorns move forward and the Luther Lions move forward. Jones will be visiting Luther just up the road next week for the 2nd round of the state playoffs.
Creasy complete at to Trip Elric, but he is tackled shy of the 1st down mark, and that's going to bring up 4th down.
And just kind of looking at the stats of the Luther Crossings game, it appears that the Crossing Knights have moved the ball quite a bit. They have 226 passing yards from what we're seeing right now, but they have 2 turnovers. And Luther's total yards, they only have 155 passing and 92 rushing, but no turnovers. And we talk about that in every game. Turnovers, no matter how great your offense is doing, can really hurt you and cost you the game, and that's what it appears to be for the Luther Crossings game.
Chisholm will get good field position here, taking off the ball at the 49-yard line.
And just as I say that, Crossings scores another touchdown and makes it 28-20.
It's an interesting game taking place, and so we'll keep our eyes on that because it does look like the Jones Longhorns have this. Looks like they will advance to the next round.
You'd really think you're going to see here Chisholm, really trying to target some deep passes to Weichert down here at number 80 or to Valenti up on the wide out on the other far side. But the handoff to number 25, which was Randy Rossell. Gain of a few, keeps the clock running. Looks like the next snap will be right at the 8-minute mark.
Patton under center. And we do have a flag that came in there.
And the Chisholm fans are cheering, so it does appear that it will probably be on the Jones Longhorns. I didn't quite see what was going on over there.
Well, they're settling that out. We also want to make sure we recognize our word of the week this week.
They had a targeting call, so that'll be a 15-yard penalty.
Our word of the week this week from Mrs. Neal's English class is ostentatious, characterized by a vulgar or pretentious display designed to impress or attract notice. Ostentatious, we saw that worked in the first half. After the penalty, Chisholm Longhorns will have the ball about the 25-yard line.
Looks like the call was on number 12, Cameron Sweat, and I assume that he's trotting off the field. I don't know if that resulted in an ejection.
Caden Carl go in his place.
Number 1, Mason Weir is having to jog off the field. His armbands are up on his shoulder once again. And so they're...
So they will take a timeout. We're going to take one as well. This is the OSSAA presentation of Oklahoma high school football. welcome back to the OSSAA presentation of Oklahoma High School football in this first round matchup, Longhorns and Longhorns. Chisholm has a first down and 10 from the Jones 25-yard line. Patton gets a shotgun snap. Looks right, does connect with Valenti, who is pushed out of bounds there. Good gain.
And Sweat and Weir will come back in. It appears, and Coach Martin had called timeout to discuss with the referees, it was uniform issues, whether it be a headband hanging out the back of Sweat's helmet or the arm piece that had the plays called on it up on Weir's arm, but they were not in balls on the ground.
Balls on the ground.
But they weren't in compliance with whatever the uniform code is, and they had to leave the field.
Chisholm does hop on that.
That was number 24, Josh Dodson, on the recovery. So there wasn't an ejection. It was just a uniform issue.
Valenti in motion. He's going to get the handoff. Hit there at the 16-yard line. Do have multiple flags flying in. And we got a hold on Chisholm. Bring up a third down and long for the Chisholm Longhorns. And that's going to be picked off.
32. David Brown.
That's a Jones Kiwanis Club turnover, carrying the ball all the way back to the Chisholm 41-yard line.
Yeah, Patton kind of threw the ball a little bit too high for Daniels. Kind of tipped it up just a little bit, and it just fell right into Brown's lap. I was able to catch it and kind of take off with it, running. And it's a great opportunity for the sophomore who's getting a little bit extra playing time out on the field to get that interception and experience the fun of Oklahoma State high school football.
Absolutely. Creasy and the Longhorns will take it over. There, 2 receivers right, 2 receivers left. Dakota Calvert in the backfield. Quick pass out to Trip Elrick, who's tackled immediately. Loss of a couple on the play. Bring up second down for the Longhorns.
Just under 6 minutes left in the game.
Dakota Calvert gets back up to pretty close to the original line of scrimmage. Going to bring up third down and 10. While we're waiting here, let's go ahead and thank the Overman Legal Group. The Overman Legal Group wishes all the student athletes a safe and successful season. Visit overmanlegal.com to see why Overman Legal is Oklahoma's top-rated law firm. Go Longhorns! It's about 5 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game. 2 receivers right, 2 left. Jet sweep handoff.
Handoff to Weir, who gets hit right at the line of scrimmage.
Bring up a fourth down.
Longhorns will bring out the regular punt team. Veer back to punt. And looks like number 80, Wickert, will be back to receive.
Down inside the 20.
The
The
16-yard line.
line.
It'll be a 27-yard punt, and good job. Be a count for a punt inside the 20. With 4:21 left in the game, the Chisholm Longhorns will take over at the 16-yard line and see if we can move the ball down the field.
We'd like to thank the Jones Assembly of God. At Jones Assembly of God, our goal is to connect you to others, to God, and to your purpose. Join us Sundays at 11 a.m. and make the connection. That's the Jones Assembly of God. 4 minutes, 20 seconds left here in the game. This first round matchup between the Longhorns and Longhorns. Rizal tackled immediately. And looking forward to next week, regardless of who the Longhorns will play. It looks like Luther has scored again. Scores 20-35 there in that game. So we will seek permission from the OSSAA to broadcast, and we should know by early next week if we will be able to broadcast the game from Luther. Looks like there's a little bit of movement there. They're going to go back 5 yards on that. Chris, we were talking about the penalty yards earlier. Just taking a look at the overall stats for today. The Jones Longhorns have 8 penalties for 95 yards.
Well, and 2 of those came on one play. So
Yeah,
it was 30 yards.
30 yards.
So, and they weren't little 5-yard penalties either. They were the full 15-yard penalties on just, I think that when you go back and watch the film, I guess Coach Martin will probably call it a boneheaded play. Like you don't get an unsportsmanlike penalty, a late hit penalty, and an unsportsmanlike penalty in the same play. You don't compound them.
In every round of the playoffs, penalties like that become more detrimental.
Certainly.
Because it can either propel your opponent to a drive, or it can be some of those holding penalties we saw, especially the unnecessary ones, can be complete drive killers.
Certainly, and as you move forward, when you play teams like Washington, or you play teams like Metro Christian, or you play teams like Millwood or Marlowe, or any of those top teams that you're playing in the state, when you get to those games, you can't have those mental mistakes, those mental issues. And those dumb penalties, what you call it.
An excellent punt. It's going to take a Chisholm bounce and fall dead at the 30-yard line.
That's a 58-yard punt, and that by Shepard. I mean, outside of the one punt that he had kind of roll off the side of his foot, the little 16, 17-yard punt, he has just been, incredibly impressive as a punter.
And the 30-yard line is where Creasy and the Longhorn offense will take over. Two minutes and 52 seconds left here in this opening round. of the Oklahoma State playoffs, 2A playoffs. One receiver right, two receivers left. Creasy gets a shotgun snap, hands off to Calvert. Stays on his feet. No gain on the play. Second down upcoming for the Longhorns. Two receivers left, one receiver right. Dakota Calvert in the backfield with Creasy. And that's the misheld on that snap there, and the Chisholm Longhorns will take over with immaculate field position coming up here late in the game.
Yeah, and those are some of the issues that you kind of expect to see whenever you bring in, your reserves. They don't get first team reps all week. Mm-hmm. They're usually playing scout team, but getting in this game time experience, getting them to understand what mistakes get made, it's great, a great opportunity. Just you hate to see it, but we'll see if Chisholm can capitalize on that turnover in giving them the ball on the 28-yard line.
It's going to be picked off. 25-20, 25-30.
Another great play by Mason Weir.
Pick that off. That is a Kiwanis Club turnover. And that is probably going to eliminate the best chance that Chisholm had to score with that short field.
Yeah, and I think I expected to see those types of plays earlier in the game. Maybe that's why they didn't throw us. But whenever you're in the fourth quarter, you're down 41-0. The defense is setting back, expecting you to be passing the ball. So it really wasn't set up for Patton in the best situation. I expected to see that kind of earlier in the game. But great play by Weir. Let the Longhorns take over and hopefully capitalize on the turnover and then make up for the mistake that they just made on the previous turnover.
And the ball does end up on the ground. Valenti picks it up.
That was Calvert on the carry. It looks like he's down. And Valenti was also really slow to get up. Looks like his right leg is just really, which give him credit. Valenti, from the first snaps of the game, has been favoring that right leg and has played through the entire game. Looks like the 27-yard line was where the Chisholm Longhorns will take over. Looks like Calvert's down. They're working on his right leg as well.
While they're taking a look at Calvert, let's go to a commercial break. This is the OSSAA presentation of high school. Calvert able to walk off the field with a little bit of assistance. And Chisholm Longhorns have the ball right back where they had it just a few minutes ago. Man in motion. He's going to get that over on the right side.
It's a 21. Josh Dodson breaks a few tackles, moves it inside the 10-yard line. That'd be good for a first down for the Chisholm Longhorns.
Just a little over a minute left here in the game. Jones up 41-0. Keep an eye out for number 80 on the left, but they are going to hand it off again. Dodson, no gain on the play. Patton, under center. Man in motion. In the sweep. Valenti has it. And he's going to be stood up and falls down. That's going to be third down. Coming up for Chisholm.
33
They're moving in 30 seconds with remaining in the game. See if Chisholm can find a way to punch it in. Up. Patton dives forward. Will be just short of the goal line with 19 seconds left in the game. Chisholm will hurry up to try to punch the ball in. 9 seconds. The handoff to 21. And he falls into the end zone. Number 21, Josh Dodson, will score to break up the shutout for the Jones Longhorns with 2 seconds left in the game. I mean, give credit to Chisholm. They didn't give up. They pushed through. The game was out of reach. We knew that whenever they received, but they continued to push forward. Stinks for the Jones defense that they couldn't finalize that shutout, but it'll be a solid win for the team. We'll be moving forward. It appears that we'll be playing Luther as of right now. It's head 35-20. And just to kind of go back, since we have a few seconds here before we wrap up our time here tonight, but looking at the stats right now, the Jones Longhorns will have finished with roughly 318 yards of total offense, which is a solid night. We had 58 plays, so similar to most of the games we've had. 31 rush attempts for 125 yards. We had 27 pass attempts, but only 16 completions for 193 yards. So, the completion percentage was a little bit lower than what we're used to seeing, but overall a good, solid night for the offense. He had 2 passing touchdowns. We did have 2 lost fumbles, but those came right here late in the fourth quarter, which were the 2 turnovers. The stat of the night that really needs to be worked on is those 8 penalties for 95 yards. They'll have to really clean that up as they move forward next week, whether they're playing Luther or Crossings, and then if the Jones Longhorns are able to successfully move forward to playoffs to play Washington, that will be a huge issue. It will be penalties. On the flip side, you have the Chisholm Longhorns. They had 126 yards of total offense tonight. It was all pretty much everything was rushing. They had 118 yards on the ground and 8 passing yards total. Which was kind of a surprise for what we expected, knowing that they had some height. They had 4 turnovers, 3 fumbles, 1 interception, and it was just a solid game by the Jones Longhorns, a tough loss for the Chisholm Longhorns, whether this be their last game or if they schedule a few more out for the rest of the year. We like to congratulate them on the season that they've had and wish them luck and safe trip back to Chisholm, Oklahoma tonight, and as our Longhorns continue to move forward in the state playoffs.
Absolutely. And so, as we said a little bit earlier, we will keep you tuned in to what if we're going to be able to broadcast next week. And if we are able to, we will get that information out. And if not, we have enjoyed this inaugural season of the Jones Journal presentation of Jones High School football. We'll do one more thanks to our sponsors, and then we will call that an evening. This is your final score from Jones. The Longhorns 41, the Longhorns 8. The Jones Longhorns will advance to take on the winner of the Luther Crossings Christians game next Friday at 7:30.